All right, so let's actually talk about TypeScript. Now, TypeScript is a wrapper for JavaScript. JavaScript is still the core, so all the JavaScript we've learned thus far is going to be very useful. It's the engine by which we will do things, but TypeScript puts guardrails. It puts a leash on JavaScript. It sets some ground rules, right? It puts like a curfew, okay, and some chores, and there's going to be some order in this town. JavaScript is very free flowing, and some people like that. Some people like to just be able to write down their script and put it out there and be done with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, there's as we saw in class, there could be a lot of bugs that happen because JavaScript does not enforce any rules. So let's talk about TypeScript. First off, you need to understand what a type is. I've used the word type a gajillion times. I try to do it as much as I can. Beginners always don't get what the word type means or forget, or you don't put the mental energy into memorizing this. If you don't understand type, this is going to be one painful unit for you. So let's go over type. Types are string, boolean, number, big int, symbol, null, undefined. Memorize this. If I ask you what the data types in JavaScript are, you should know. Because variables can be strings. Some variables are numbers. Others are undefined. Okay, so the variable is a type. Okay, it's either a string or a boolean. That's what I mean. Type means kind of. Like, what kind of variable is it? Oh, this one's a string. This one's a number. So, for example, people's names would be strings. Okay, age would be a number, right? And you need to practice this. This is still like you're not really clear on this, or if I ask you what the data types are, like I said, we're gonna be sure you review that because TypeScript is going to force you to know these things, and I'm going to demonstrate what I mean. On line 3, we've done something we've done a million times before. We have let, okay, this let keyword to say we're about to have a variable. We have our variable first name, and it's equal to the string Jonathan. That means first name. This variable first name, its type is string. Okay, the variable's name is first name. The type is string. You need to not gloss over my words or tune me out. The name of the variable is first name. The type is string. If you don't understand this, you have to practice it. Here's why this is important. In TypeScript, once you say that this variable, first name, is a string, that's it. I cannot later on go first name equals 0. Okay, so this is already quite different from JavaScript. In JavaScript, we can do what we want, but here we have this red line. We have an actual error. And notice how here, in the file structure, the folder is red, and then the file itself is red, meaning there's one error here, and there's an X. This is not normal, right? So you can hover over it and basically be type number is not assignable to type string. First name is a string. If you hover over the variable and you don't know what the type is, it will show you. Let first name string. Okay, the variable first name is a string. Because it's a string, you cannot set it to a number. This will not run. It will refuse to run. You can't run your program. That is different from JavaScript. JavaScript, you can run your program if there's errors in the code or not. JavaScript will run until it hits an error. Okay, it will just run down the hallway until it trips. If it doesn't trip, great, but if it trips, it will wait till it trips. TypeScript says, no, human, you need to have all your ducks in a row before I will even run this program. You cannot run this. So if you have things like this, you can't do this. First name is a string. It can be set to any other kind of string, like kangaroo. Okay, Australia. Okay, if it's a string, cool. Okay, first name is a string all day long. Okay, that means now this is strongly typed. Strongly typed means when you say it's of a type, then that's it. It does not change. Use on line 5, the variable first name is a string. That's it. Forever, till death do you part, it is a string. It cannot be anything else. You cannot do first name equals, for example, true. Okay, and TypeScript will yell at you. Okay, type boolean is not assignable to type string. Your code will not run until you fix this. Now, let's go over some basic syntax. TypeScript will infer the type of the variable based on the value, but you can't explicitly state it by, after the name of the variable, you put a colon and then the type, string with a lowercase s. It will be like this greenish color here, right? And that lets you know that this first name variable is a string. Let's say I had a number, like let age number equals 38. Okay, that means that this variable age, the name of this variable is age, and its type is number, meaning I can never do this. Ever. This is not allowed. Your code will not run. The end. This is how people who like program in C# and Java, this is their everyday life. C# and Java are strongly typed languages. When you say something's a string, that's it. It's a string. It will never be something else. Right? So everything has to have a type, and it needs to be spelled out what the type is. It can't change. Now in normal JavaScript, if we go back to vanilla JavaScript, so let me open that up real quick. All right, let me just pick something, right? In vanilla JavaScript, if I just decide that a variable is one thing and then another, that's fine. So for example, let example name equal Jonathan. Let me make that lowercase. And then if I do example name equals 0, in vanilla JavaScript, this is cool. There's no problem with this. Okay, you can just go ahead and switch the type of the variable with a new value. The first one was a string, the second one was a number. Cool, bro. Okay, this is weakly typed. You can change it at will. It doesn't matter. Okay, JavaScript will not complain. This will run. Okay, this will run. You can run your program and this will run. There will be no errors. Okay, whereas with TypeScript, okay, we go back to that. If you say it's a number, it's a number, and it cannot be anything else. You must give the type. This is the hardest thing for people coming from JavaScript or another weakly typed language like Python or something to come into the strongly typed world and be like, well, wait a second, like I just want to put down a variable. You cannot just do that. You must give the type. Now again, TypeScript will infer what the type is. So like for example, is a teacher equals true. Okay, so I didn't put colon boolean here. Okay, I didn't put that because TypeScript will infer what the type is from the value. You said this is equal to true, therefore this must be a boolean. If you ever don't know, you can hover over the variable like this and it will show you the type in this green color. All right, this is the very, very basics of TypeScript. So now we know how to do variables. Okay, let, and we're going to use let from now on. We're not going to use let and const. We're not going to use var. No more var. Okay, none of this. Okay, it's going to be let and const all the way through. So you'll have let and then the name of the variable, then colon, and then its type. For the first part of TypeScript, I want you to put the type for the variable down. Right? Yes, it will infer what it is, blah, blah, blah. For practice's sake, for the first part of the TypeScript section of class, I want you to actually do the colon and then the type so you can think about what the variable is. All right, that was the introduction to the first part of TypeScript with variables and types. We're going to do functions next.